Well, ain't it nice to see a familiar face? Welcome to another year of football with Madden NFL 23. Before we get started, go ahead and change up your options, or just stick with what worked for you last year. And don't worry, if you ever feel like switching it up, you can always change things around in settings later.
That's how you know we lit.
Accessibility. Madden 23 gives you multiple new ways to pass the ball. Try them all out here and pick what works best for you. You can always change your passing style later in the settings menu. Madden 20 control the exact. Madden 20, stick with what you know.
He's throwing it.
Madden 23, stick with what you know.
Ready?
Hello, new world.
Madden 20, stick with what you know. Traditional old school Madden style passing. Lead the receiver in any direction by using the left stick.
Whoa, yeah.
Take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white loss, take off the weird jewelry, I'ma take 10 steps, then I'm taking off top 5. Take off the fabricate streams and the microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Take off your idols, take off the runway, take off the Cairo, take off the Sandro, pay 5 days stay, take off for the meal, hella follow. Take off the fuck flag, take off perception, take off the cop with the iPad. Take off the allure, take off the unsure, take off decisions I lag. Take off the fake deep, take off the fake woke, take off the I'm broke, I care. Take off the gossip, take off the new logic, that if I'm rich, I'm rare. Take off the shit.
This is a special presentation of EA Sports from the Coliseum in Oakland. Our tribute to the coach, the John Madden Legacy Game. I'm Brandon Gaudin here to take you through the proceedings. And coming up, we're going to tell the story of a man who was truly larger than life and whose impact on the sport of football certainly is going to live on for decades and decades to come. Now, we've assembled a couple of rosters featuring some of Coach's favorite players from both yesterday and today. And Coach himself will be on the sidelines for both squads, trying to motivate his guys to victory. And I'm joined now by my good friend Charles Davis. CD, your thoughts on John Madden and what he meant to the sport he loved so much?
For me, Brandon, it's the word joy. He brought that to the game of football, brought the game to so many people. He stayed involved his entire life. And moving forward, when you think of football, you're always going to think.
One time for old times. What do you say we play some football as we are underway from Oakland in the John Madden Legacy game. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. So it's the NFC stars who will get the ball first. And, Charles, as we alluded to, we've got a different era of coach on each sideline. So the man coaching this NFC squad, we'll call him Young John Madden. This is a coach who was trying to establish a foothold in the NFL and on the cusp of doing it very successfully.
Yeah, you think back to that period, those early days as the coach of the Raiders, the late 60s in the AFL, and then in the NFL in the early 70s. The coach was a guy who was ahead of his time. The Raiders were one of the first teams to have mini camps, one of the first to film practice, because he wanted to practice coaching as much as he could. And his teams, they were successful right from the start of his head coaching tenure.
Oh, he's going to let this go for the end zone. And that's going to be caught. Touchdown NFC. Randy Moss, 43 yards. And the NFC has taken the early lead. Well, if they didn't get the wake-up call before the game, they got it right now. 2 plays already in the end zone.
I think of it in boxing terms because whether it's a big shot with your first one or a probing one, a little bit of a jab, the second one was the payoff. That was the big one that landed. 1-2, end zone.
Shanked. Oh.
Extra point by Anderson, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. The long touchdown pass gets him 6 on a very, very tiny 2-play drive that time. Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. And Hall not going to bring this one out. So, Charles, as mentioned, we've got another Coach Madden over here on the AFC sideline. Of course, his Raiders, members of the AFC West. So this is a conference he battled in for his entire career. And you think about the landscape of the NFL as he was getting into the back half of his tenure. It was a golden era for coaches. You had Don Shula, Tom Landry, Chuck Noll, Bud Grant. But it was John Madden who had the best winning percentage of them all, CD, 759. The best ever.
Brandon, it's hard to believe he could be so successful in a conference with all those great teams. The Steelers won 4 Super Bowls. The Dolphins won 2 and were a mainstay in the playoffs. The Colts were tough. The Broncos came on late and went to a Super Bowl themselves. But against Hall of Fame coaches, John Madden's record, 36, 16, and 2. That's pretty incredible. His Raiders were a factor each and every year.
15 yards on the play, first down. So as we mentioned at the top, let's take you through the life of John Madden. And you know, it's very fitting that we're here back in the Bay Area, not just because John's so associated with Raider football, but also because this was where he spent his formative years.
Yeah, he grew up over in Daly City with his buddy John Robinson, who would also become an NFL head coach. And he played his high school ball at Jefferson High, eventually wound up playing tackle at the University of Oregon, and later Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Played well enough that in 1958, he was a 21st round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right, the draft had 30 rounds then.
But Charles, you mentioned Coach was a 21st round draft pick back in 1958. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who selected him. But unfortunately for John, knee problems, they just continued to dog him. He was hurt in his first training camp, actually never saw the field as a player in the NFL. But it was still during his time with the Eagles, you and I were talking about this before going on air, that you could start to see the light bulb going on for what his career path might entail.
And it went on in a big way, didn't it? Because while he was rehabbing his knee, he started to spend a lot of time breaking down film with the Eagles, with quarterback Norm Van Brocklin, the future Hall of Famer and future head coach in the NFL. Remember, Van Brocklin coached with the Falcons, he coached with the Vikings. And it's there, during that time, I think Coach Madden realized his love of football and love for teaching, combining all that together, and that meant being a football coach. So in 1960, began his coaching career at a small college south of San Luis Obispo called Allen Hancock, and then later at San Diego State University under another legendary coach, the guy who could throw it around pretty well, Don Coryell.
Brady's throw on third down there is incomplete. On is the Hall of Famer Ray Guy to punt this away on fourth down. And now where will the side judge stop his walk? That's the question. He says it crossed out of bounds at about the 17-yard line. 1 quarter in the books at the Coliseum. What a day. The NFC Stars with the early lead in the John Madden Legacy game on EA Sports. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. Look, they're on the road. So getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. That'd be ideal.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. To the 43, 2nd down. Charles, you know, it was in the early 1960s that a young John Madden made the acquaintance of the owner of the Oakland Raiders, one Al Davis, of course, and the two, they really bonded, would become one of the best owner-coach duos in NFL history. And to take it a step further, Al Davis became someone who John referred to as his best friend.
Yeah, 1967, Brandon. Al Davis hired Coach Madden to be a linebackers coach. Remember, this was still the AFL at that point. We had not merged totally with the NFL. And Coach Madden, he paid dividends almost immediately. Helped the Raiders win the AFL title in 1968. And that meant a date with the Green Bay Packers in what was now known as Super Bowl II. But by 1969, at the age of 32, just 30.
And how about this, a fake? Oh, and this turns into a mess as it's intercepted. And he'll get this one out to the 50 to the midfield stripe. So sometimes the fake punts work out. They're fun, and you're so smart for doing it. And sometimes, Charles, what happens is an epic fail, and what we just saw was an epic fail.
And you're right about that, because the key here is the element of surprise. You have to catch the defense completely unaware that this might happen, this might occur. Unfortunately, somehow they tipped it off, or they were just well coached and on their toes.
Oh, what a... Allen hit. He lost the football, but this will get out of bounds, so possession will stay the same. Charles, you talked about John Madden and the Raiders going on a ride. Well, try these numbers on for size. So 10 seasons as a head coach, the Raiders won their division 7 times. They finished second the other 3 times. And he became the youngest coach to amass 100 career regular season victories and is still, to this day, the franchise leader in wins.
And when you think about it, that's where that rivalry with Kansas City really took root. As did the expression commitment to excellence. And boy, was it personified by the players who played for Coach Madden. On offense, how about quarterback Kenny Stabler, wide receiver Cliff Branch, wide receiver Fred Biletnikoff, tight end Dave Casper, to name a few. How about those great linemen he had? Center Jim Otto, guard Gene Upshaw, tackle Art Shell, all of them in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And guys on the defensive side of the ball, the Mad Stork himself, Ted Hendricks, Willie Brown, John Matuzak, Otis Sistrunk, and Big Ben Davidson. So many great players, so many great memories.
Charles, you think about all the success that John Madden had as an NFL head coach, and he had plenty, and we talked about it, including the 10 straight winning seasons, the Super Bowl title. But like any great coach, he also suffered through a few tough losses along the way as well.
And Brandon, those tough losses came in high-stakes games because they always had such great success. Think about it this way. 6 times in his 10 years, the Raiders were knocked out near the AFL championship game or the AFC championship game. There might be a divisional round exit. That's the one that bothered him most of all. Three River Stadium, December 1972. Yes, the Immaculate Reception game. Franco Harris grabbing the ball that was deflected. Almost at his shoe tops, he picked it up and took it in for a game-winning score to give the Steelers a 13-7 victory. And partner, anyone who loves black and silver still doesn't believe that ball hit anyone in black and silver that day, and that play should never have counted.
With the NFC offense coming out here, and you know, Charles, Coach Madden always said that if he had one drive to win a game and he had to pick a quarterback, he would pick Kenny Stabler. But I think if you asked him to omit any of his Raiders players, there's a good chance the guy he'd select would be Brett Favre.
Brett Favre is always smiling. He's always laughing. He's always talking to someone. He remembers that it's a game. And if it's a game, you should have fun.
And Brandon, that always reminds me of a great movie line where one of the players was telling a coach, every time I say it's a game, you say it's a business. And every time I say it's a business, you say it's a game. With Coach, it was always a game.
Now a shot taken on third down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
There is something to a game plan with trying to keep a defense honest. When the guy with that type of speed, you do so. Send him deep, try to throw some air under it, and hope you connect downfield. On that play, they were unsuccessful.
They'll try and throw for it with Favre. And he's brought down. Can't do anything with a football. It's a sack and a turnover on downs. Boy, a curious decision to go for it. Doesn't pan out. And the AFC is going to get the football back in great field position. On 1st and 10, here's Brady. Open man is Hill. He's got it. And he gets it down a yard or two shy of the 30 before he's out of bounds. Snap will come from the 31 on 2nd and 7. On the toss, here's Allen. And he is going to lose yardage here. Now the AFC going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 37 seconds to play in this first half. So they've been unable to capitalize on the great field position as of yet. Here's 3rd and 9. Brady. Trying for Brown, and it's intercepted. And a huge return as he'll take this one all the way down inside the 30-yard line. With that one, anything but a frozen rope to the outside, and it winds up an interception.
And these are the ones you hope for as a defender because he's got clear sailing in front of him to return this one a long way. And he sets his guys up in good shape with a terrific return.
Now the NFC heading back out. Hall of Famer Randy Moss, a part of this offense. And Coach Madden, boy, he always appreciated the ferociousness with which number 84 attacked the football in the air.
As Randy Moss says, just chunk it up there, dog, and I'll go get it.
And, Coach, boy, did he ever go get it. Over 15,000 receiving yards, 156 touchdowns. And how about this? From his rookie year of 1998 until 2009, those were his prime seasons, right? He led the league in touchdowns 5 times, but even more so. He showed us all how to go up and get it. Great body control. No one's ever done it better playing the ball in the air.
Now, meanwhile, a pass that should have been intercepted, but it winds up falling incomplete. Line of scrimmage, again the 4-yard line. 2nd and goal. Now they toss out wide to Sanders. It'll be a loss of a couple on the play, so now 3rd down. Now a timeout taken. Perhaps a chance for one more quick play and then another timeout if they hurry. We'll see. Now they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. Throwing is far. To the end zone, but it's incomplete.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
Anderson's kick is good, and they push the lead up to a touchdown now at 10-3. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
He'll take the knee in the final couple seconds. Will tick by. Coming up in the second half, we'll run through John's post-coaching triumphs. But for now, we present a special tribute to the man of the hour, narrated by the Raiders' own Trey Mosley.
What comes to mind when you hear the name Madden? Is it the coach who led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl victory? Perhaps it's the broadcaster who entertained millions of fans. Or maybe it's the video game known simply by his name. But no matter what comes to mind when you hear the name Madden, everyone thinks of one thing: football.
The core of it was football. It's the greatest game in the world. The left goes to the right goes to the left.
Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. John Madden goes on the shoulders of his players.
In my mind, John Madden is the most important figure in the history of professional football. Show me somebody else who did it on 3 levels the way John did it. There's nobody.
Boy, Charles, yeah, that is really well done. Coach was something else, wasn't he?
I'm reminded what Al Davis said when he was inducted coach of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Brandon. He loved the game. He loved his team. He loved the Raiders. He loved this league. And you can see it with everything he does.
No doubt. It's quite possible, though, that now he would say, hey, enough of that. Let's play some football. The second half forthcoming from Oakland. The AFC offense. Their next drive. Charles, it'll be interesting to see what adjustments this offense made in the locker room. Haven't really been able to get anything going offensively, virtually nothing in the ground attack either, so certainly something has to change here in quarter 3.
And I'm pretty sure their friends from the defensive side of the ball told them exactly that, because those guys, the stop troops, they've been playing pretty well, and they've kept them around in this game. Now they've got some time. The running game struggled in the first half. Opposition knows.
And now the ball's out. Fumble near midfield. And it's scooped up by the NFC. On the move past the 40. And a terrific return as he takes this thing all the way down near the 20-yard line. These defenses have become so opportunistic, and no matter what you're playing, in this case wide receiver, you got to be careful.
Certainly do, because there is a phrase in today's football that we use all the time, completing the process of the catch. Well, it's after you do that where the trouble begins, right? Meaning you've tucked it away, you're trying to get downfield, but someone's always coming up trying to rake at the ball and knock it free.
Play action. It's Favre. And this throw incomplete. And the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to third down. And they go play action with Favre. And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's fourth down. The Hall of Famers kick is good, and they will stretch their lead to 10 now at 13-3. So the fumble recovery hadn't set up an ideal field position, but they can muster only 3 points out of it.
Yeah, when you're able to force turnovers, especially when it results in field position like they had, you really want to make it hurt. Here, they take the field goal. That's definitely not what they were hoping for.
And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The offense for the AFC set to go now. And last time they coughed it up, led to a field goal. They're fortunate that it only led to a field goal, but still, they're not happy about it.
Could you sense the relief, though, when they only gave up the field goal and they were able to trot back out on the field and start this drive? A little more pep in their step because they didn't cost their team a touchdown, but they know they've got to do it a lot better than they did on the last possession.
Coach will just be relieved, though, if they recoup with a score here, right?
I think Coach will be ecstatic to see them pick themselves back up and now take it downfield, punch in the end zone without turning it over.
So now, Charles, and to pick up the story we've been telling, John Madden at 42. He just completed a 10-year stint as the coach of the Raiders. He wants to step away a bit from the grind of coaching, but he doesn't want to step away from the game of football. So he ends up signing on with CBS in 1979 to try his hand at broadcasting. And much like his coaching career, he was pretty much an instant success.
Partner, he really connected with the people right from the start, and people may not remember, he wasn't even on the #1 team in the beginning. He worked his way up. But the same things that made him a great coach made him a great broadcaster. The ability to show the big picture, yet break it down into the details. That's what he did with his teams. That's what he did with the people. That way, he was simple to understand, yet insightful for viewers. And he did with that big personality that he had, one that connected with everyone.
This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on third down. Here's Brady. Toward the sideline, it's complete. An athletic grab, but still well short of the first. Here's Ray Guy now as he'll kick it away for the second time. So through 3 quarters of the John Madden legacy game, it's the NFC stars and young Coach Madden on top. We'll be back to the Coliseum after this. Back now here on EA Sports. It's AFC football, but they trail here as we begin the fourth quarter.
Let's go. Let's go right here. Let's go, baby. Let's have some fun.
The offense for the NFC ready to get their next drive started. Well, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this fourth quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
Under 4 to go now as they come up on second down. Favre. And this one is incomplete. So for Coach Madden, Charles, by 1981, his broadcasting career is really taking off. He's elevated to the network's #1 booth that calls all the big matchups. And he gets the plum assignment of calling Super Bowl 16, 49ers and Bengals, and he's teamed up with Pat Summerall. And that pairing ultimately would go on to be one of the most influential in sports broadcasting history.
Influential not just in us listening to them. Remember, they went out and called 8 Super Bowls together. But how they put together kind of the template that all of us broadcasters follow now. Sitting down with the head coaches and the quarterbacks and the stars of each team before a ball game to get extra information. And the way that those two paired together, Pat Summerall, short, concise, to the point, and turned it over to Coach Madden to fill in all the big details.
As you mentioned, CD, talking about the broadcaster, he called 8 Super Bowls with Pat Summerall, 3 more with Al Michaels later in his career. He spent nearly 3 decades in the booth all told. And not only was he beloved for his mannerisms, we know that, but he was an innovator as well.
Yeah, Brandon, you're talking about things like the telestrator, which totally became identified with him, and now it's a staple for all analysts to have in the booth. And then you think about things like turducken on Thanksgiving. When you use words like boom and pow, he helped create the old Madden team. He was a very popular commercial pitch man. And even the Madden cruiser was unique, and you had to be someone to get a ride on it, too.
It's the Hall of Famer Ray Lewis powering in for the sack. So 2 minutes to play in the John Madden legacy game. The NFC trying to finish this one off. We're back to Oakland after this. They're going on 4th down. It's Favre. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. To throw is Brady. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. And he's going to bring this one back for an NFC touchdown. Well, just to add that to the list of great moments for this defense today, they've really shredded that game plan on the other side all 4 quarters. And, Charles, that pick 6, that's kind of the cherry on top.
Yeah, they did it, and I feel like I'm quoting a bad movie line, but they did it together, didn't they? Fed off of each other, every big play they made, every tackle, every pick, everything they've done. They continually built energy in this one, and how about them culminating with a pick six?
So they throw the pick six. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. This fielded right at the goal line. And not a good return here at all as they'll be forced to start at the 12-yard line.
In this position, trying to get back into the game, teams are looking for a spark from their special teams. That's not what they got, though. They got a setback, and they have a long field to cover if they want to try and put points on the board.
The AFC offense set to take their next drive. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on third down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to. Here's Hester. And call that an even 50 yards on the punt with 7 on the return. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. Ready to begin their next drive here, the NFC offense. And checking the timeouts, they do have 2 defensively, but no real need to use them as they're not going to be able to stop the clock after that. And he'll work it across midfield inside the 45. First down yardage on the first play of the drive, give him 14. Well, this has certainly been special. And, Charles, as we wind down toward the end of this John Madden legacy game, your final thoughts?
Well, let's face it, partner, it's going to be hard to overestimate the impact that he made, not just on the sport of football, but on his family, friends, players, co-workers, and in the lives of millions of Americans who watched it. There will never be another John Madden.
That's going to be caught by Moss. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down. Inside the 20. And we've got a timeout. 9 seconds remaining. So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. That one looks like he'll throw here. And that's going to be caught. Touchdown NFC. George Kittle from 17 yards out as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead. And this win now going to look a little more lopsided on the scoreboard, CD. Now, some may have run out the clock in that scenario, but they wanted to put their foot on the gas, get one more touchdown, and they did just that.
Well, partner, I would say the traditionalists not overly excited about that score. They'd like to see the game played a little bit differently. But what you can't argue with is their execution of that play, because it played out exactly as it was drawn up. It almost would have been a shame not to finish with such a well-run play.
Following the touchdown, here's Anderson to kick it away. Pulls it in at the 13. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
The AFC takes over 1st down 10 at their own 26-yard line.
Wait, that.
One final try now for Brady. And that will be incomplete. So it's a win here for the NFC. Just an incredible afternoon of football and remembering the life of John Madden. And before we go, one final message. And for all of us at EA Sports, this one's for you, Coach.
I just say this, I thank you all very much. This has been the sweetest ride of them all.
Time to decide how you're going to make your Madden NFL 23 debut. Become coach once again and captain a team of legends. Feeling a little rusty on them sticks? Head on over to the main menu and see the full array of options you've got to work with at Madden NFL 23.
You like the top or you just like to lose? Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof. You gotta choose. Make a choice. I need 100 pack for my boys. Be hating and talking and hating. I bet you I kill the noise. I've been a man like I'm painting. I boost up my rating. You know how I play with toys. Pop out on any occasion, get standing ovations. They can't help it but rejoice. They all wanna follow me. Cause I got my foot on the opposition neck and ain't no apologies. 100 yards, you know I own all the property. Daddy's home, you know I own all the property. You gotta choose. You like the top or you just like to lose? Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof. You gotta choose. You like the top or you just like to lose? Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof. You gotta choose. You like the top or you just like to lose? Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof. You gotta choose. You like the top or you just like to lose? Make a move. Been at the bottom, I got the proof. You gotta choose. I'm really out for blood this time, look. I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my hand. Gonna tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge. Heard they was sleeping again, say it no more. This is a rude awakening, kicking the door. Back and I'm better than ever before. Don't get it mistaken, I'm ready for war. I see the option, I'm up in the score. I catch a and jump in the course. Follow the core and back to the morgue. Take the sheet off and I some more. When I am done at the scene, I won't leave anything. You won't even know who is involved. Don't let me do it, cause I overdo it and do it till I cannot do it no more. All of the doubters, I'm proving them wrong. Back with the classic, I know it's been long. Heard they was missing me while I was gone. I smell the victory back up on top, and it's where I belong. Like it ain't to me, we making history. Fall through the misery, weather the storm. Can't let them get to me, no weapon form shall prosper. Be all over my roster, I got options. I keep it right on the dresser, next to the Oscar. Applying pressure, somebody stop us. Woo! Applying pressure, somebody stop us. Running my class and go to the doctor, go to the doctor, go to the what? I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my head. Gonna tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge. I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my head. Gonna tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge. So now they on my body. Made it to the top. Ain't no way that they can stop me now. They gon' say I joined the Illuminati. I got demons all around me. Tell me what they know about me, huh? I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my hand. Don't tell a friend. Say success is the best revenge. I just came back for the win. Lot of new money in my hand. Tell a friend. They say success is the best revenge. Lights came, prime time,
In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic. Lights came prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic. Round up the stars and you go, that's it. Then it's a bomb with a flick on my wrist. Jersey on my chest, it's a team that I win. It's a rookie now, falling like a vet. If you talking crazy, better say it with your chest. Hit him with the right, then I hit him with the left. Then the juke move, Heisman, stiff arm, lights out, you snooze. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic. It's not a game, it's not a game. Banging on your chest when I come through the pain. Never been about the money or the fame. But when it bring both, so here we go again. Wins on the road, yeah, I got those. Couple records that I hold, yeah, I got those. It's the playoffs, the team just got home. We ain't going outside when it matter most. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic. Lights came, prime time action. Run it up, touchdown, I'm snapping. In the field with the plays, John Madden. It's so many given Sunday magic.
Got so many memories that I made on Cascade Road. I done gained the world, I ain't never sell my soul. This is God-given, so I thank him as I go. Hate to sound conceited, but I know. Crazy thing they with me. Yeah, crazy thing they with me. Run up on me, baby, show you gon' see. Yeah, got power from my head and my feet. Yeah. This colossal, what I say is gospel. I cook this with love, they gon' eat it up and swallow me. I'm from the ghetto, babe. Seen bodies in the street before I could talk. I came from nothing, I turned a mustard seed into a million. In the discussion, had a TED talk with the higher me, show me how to run it up, I need all my cheese. Every day that I wake up, I'm pinching myself, can't believe that I'm really me. Popping shows in New Zealand, boy, you is not eating, man, we do not play in the same league. I gave my mama some racks and she asked me if I'm selling. I said, mama, please. If I was, do you think I'd let you know? Got so many memories that I made on Cascade Road. This is God-given, so I thank her as I go. This gon' sound conceited, but I know. Crazy thing they with me. Yeah, crazy thing they with me. Yeah, got power from my head to my feet. Run up on my man, so you gon' not chase, I just attract what you put in, you get back. I'm screaming Campbell, then still hit the dance and them wherever I'm at. Feel like a champion, mamba mentality. I am the masterpiece, life is the craft. Deep love me and I can't resist it, but I'm only guilty of slipping too fast. Life is by legacy, what lies ahead of me, helping to get peace with this past. Little bitty regular that I pack, 007 before you react. Don't think twice, my only advice for my granddad before he passed. Look to the stars, look at the sky at night. Tell me that heaven ain't black on everything I love. Try not to brag till you bring it up. Tunnel vision, block opinions, and I could give but think of us. Duck, jab, hooks in it. Roots with an upper back. Tell the truth, shut the devil up. In the booth, I'm untouchable. Crazy thing they with me. Yeah, crazy thing they with me. Run up on me, baby, so you gon' see. Yeah, got power from my head and my feet.
leaving my mark like a. I see no biggie. Ain't biting my tongue. I can't be no goofy, no victim to none of my enemies. Like honestly, be sending me talk from a sip that a week when I get to me. My check don't discriminate. Still take deposits if you took a to me. I just be having my way. I'ma kill out with a pain till I say. Heard you wanna be. Don't got a whip and rag on no petty. Let's stop talking that on your hip. If you ain't gon' rip it up, pop it. Empty the like show me a benefit. Let me dumb it down, Benjamin. When you we not equivalent. Really bad, looking so innocent. Bossy predicament. I see no biggie. Honestly, I see no biggie. Pay the heavy on pretty. You mad while I'm getting busy. Country girl running your city. Attitude bad on Sadiddy. He only 2 times from the he out like a light, call him Ricky. And honestly, it ain't no cap in it. No, ain't no cap in it. I like with a stack in it. I'm by that, stop it, cause it ain't no acting it. I see no biggie. Honestly, I see no biggie. Pay the heavy on pretty. Leave him up like it. I see no biggie. Call me Hillary, stay at the bank. Making moves like I'm hot in the shank. I'm low key, but I pop out in blank. It's when I'm not, stop trying to look. They do not come for me. Fake, I can't keep no company. Only the real respect my honest. So watch how you coming if you're under me. I'm with it in Rex involved. I they text and calls. You run me that, making no sense at all. They bounce like a basketball. Your boo never coming back. This go stupid, go dumb. Told that boy you gotta pay for some. I sit on no throne, you ain't taking none. You bragging on pants, I'm making fun. I see no biggie. Honestly, I see no biggie. Pay the heavy on pretty. You mad while I'm getting busy. Country girl running your city. Attitude bad on Sadiddy. He only 2 times from the he out like a light, call him Ricky. And honestly, it ain't no cap in it. No, ain't no cap in it. I like with a stack in it. I'm by that, stop it, cause it ain't no acting it. I see no biggie. Honestly, I see no biggie. Pay the heavy on pretty. Leaving my mark like a. I see no biggie. I ain't keeping up with what you saying on the internet. I ain't keeping up with the news. But I get that daily paper. Stop playing me. Pat.
You have to be very delicate and very precise here. Everything runs away from it.
Your goals, I'm bringing my game. All of that talking just sound like a show. I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained. You hear the crowd, they screaming my name. I got the stadium going insane. Done with the talking, it ain't no discussion. You started, I finished, put me in the game. Put me in the game. Yeah. Put me in the game. All of that talking just sound like a show. I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained. Hey, coach, put me in the game. They put me in, so I'm going in. You play for fun, I'm playing to win. Back on the wall, I'm ready for war. If I beat them before, I could beat them again. They thought I was done, I went on a run and beat all the odds and got even again. Watch what you say, I'm not one of them. When I jump in my bag, I could jump out the gym. Take a look at my legacy, I gotta let them see I'm out here winning, cause I'm on a mission. Put me in the game, just the way I'm feeling. Now honestly, do not see no competition. I gotta get it, so it ain't no quitting. We jumped off the benches and jumped in the trenches. No one is better than all of us, and that's why all of us been winning from the beginning. It's more than a game, don't play with my name. You come with your goals, I'm bringing my game. All of that talking just sound like a show. I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained. You hear the crowd, they screaming my name. I got the stadium going insane. Done with the talking, it ain't no discussion. You started, I finished, put me in the game. Talking just sound like a show. I'm just letting you know that I'm not entertained. Hey, coach, put me in the game. Coach, put me in the game.
I told you I'd be ready. You always got excuses. You know I be on top of things. Punctual my my proper name. On the dot is not your aim. Although we in love, we are not the same. I hit you on that celly. You said you needed 5, that was more than 12 ago. Claim you got your hands tied, time stuck like Velcro. Georgia Peach on east side like it's ATL. You lacking, you tripping, you slacking, impatient, be waiting, confused like what happened. You get attitude cause I'm getting mad, cause you wanna take 20 minutes and a half. And on top of that, I gotta get gas out of the freeway, pick up traffic. What the is you doing? We gotta dip, 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 dip. Cardi, yeah. Watch your tick, 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 tick. Waiting for that last minute for your hell. Now stop playing games, girl. Bring your multiples of everything. Now your neighbor wanna come and speak to me like, hey, how you doing? I ain't talking my ear off. It's sympathy I care about one thing. Well, anyway, gotta pay a little more. We late to the jet, got a jet cause the boat leave ain't. And we got some fur on the upper deck in the orchestra on plan. For every opera project, you ain't scared to change cause it's ain't coming out your pockets. My fruity and slip, I'm rude a little bit. Don't be just so tall, your girl let it put so much into tonight. And you just don't care. And I stop playing games, gone, bring your downstairs. Come on, girl, let's go. Come on, girl, let's go. Tonight, just don't care. Playing games, girl, bring your downstairs. When I ball in, I'm going crazy, yeah. Can't get me, yeah. Look at your
the coach here, and welcome to this ultimate challenge. Sit back and relax. You're in for a real treat with this matchup.
And the Steelers, they're ready to rock on 1st and 10. There's Purdy on 1st and 10. Oh, he's going to take a shot right away. And that is going to be pulled in one-handed. Wow. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. George Pickens, 75 yards. And that'll just about do it for us in this one. You've notched another win, and the next challenge awaits as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter.
Hello, and welcome to this Madden Ultimate Team Showdown. I'm your host, the coach. Now let's hand it off to Brandon and Charles as we jump straight into the action.
We start this challenge off in the 4th quarter with 4 minutes left on the clock. You're ahead by 4. Your opponent has the ball on their own 25. 1st and 10. That's a gain of 4 as we slip inside of 4 minutes left in regulation. To throw again on 2nd down. Brady. He'll be hit down at the 33, 5 yards on the play. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
They'll go with a big back Fournette. And he's not going to get the first. I don't even think he made it back to the line of scrimmage. Leonard Fournette stops short of the marker on 4th down. And the Texans take over an excellent field position. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. Purdy now to throw off the play action. That is caught. It's Calvin Johnson. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. The end result, 21 yards.
What may seem a little unorthodox to some people, got the lead, 4th quarter, yet he's still firing away. I think he believes that's the best way to go ahead and win the game.
Yeah, a lot of coaches say, let's just run the football, be conservative. He's sticking to his game plan.
No, that is his game, and that's what they're going to ride.
And he's able to get this down to the 5-yard line before he's out of bounds. 2nd and 3 with the ball sitting on the 5. They run with Jackson out of the gun. And the hole closes quickly here. He can fight only to about the 4. Give him a yard on the run there, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and 2. Back to throw, Purdy. And that's going to be knocked away in the end zone. It's incomplete.
But based on the play we just saw there, he might not be the guy you want to challenge in coverage on these all-important snaps. He certainly looks dialed in right now.
And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked by Antoine Winfield Jr. And the Buccaneers are right back in this football game. The Bucs offense set to begin their next possession. The interception sets them up with an opportunity to erase this 4th quarter deficit. And this series could very well determine our outcome. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. So it's Buccaneer football as we welcome you back. A few better down a score in the 4th quarter than Tom Brady. This is 1st and 10. That throw by Brady incomplete. He was unable to complete it there, and just not the game that you would expect from him. He's been off the mark really start to finish.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what exactly is going on. Is he a little bit dinged up here, or is he just off just by a bit? Maybe he can get it back in this situation. He'll need to.
And he's going to be taken down with another 1st down as the stop's made at the Texans' 43. Brady's throw there complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25. Back to throw, Brady. And break, the tight end's got it. And he'll be marked down right at the 15-yard line. Now a second down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. I guess you can't be afraid to take those chances late in the game. He tried to fit that one in there. Nice job, though, defensively.
Well, to your point, it was a nice job knocking the ball away. But you're also right. You can't be afraid to take those chances. That means your guys going downfield to catch the ball, they've got to elevate their game and come down with these in order to keep your offense moving.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. Counting down at 30 seconds remaining. Now Brady. And this one complete to Smith. And he is out of bounds right around the 10-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 15 as that'll lead to third down. Brady to throw. And this is caught. Touchdown. And they've taken the lead here in the final minute. Not quite enough that time. Maybe just... So a 1st and 10 as the Buccaneer offense gets ready to go. They go back to the ground now with Fournette. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31. They'll come up now 2nd and 4 from the 31. Now the former Oregon man, this is Kenyon Barner. And the second wave of tacklers is going to get him as they stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's third down.
When people talk about plays being blown up, that's exactly what they're talking about. That's Exhibit A for physical play.
Throwing is Brady on third down. Open man is Jalen Darden. And he is going to have the Buccaneers first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
But give the defensive guys a little bit of credit. They didn't let the deep ball beat them on that play, did they?
No, the drag, that guy can be your safety valve. We saw it right there.
Yeah, and they picked up a first down for him, too.
And Brady's throw there, incomplete.
Nice progress down the field was halted by that incompletion. They could try for some safe yards here to get things moving again, or keep throwing it and pushing it downfield to try and pick up bigger yardage.
The throw on second down by Brady is incomplete.
He did a fine job there not hitting him before the ball arrived, and I've got to tell you, you can often mistime that play because of the angles of approach. When you're going to get him, sometimes you panic as well and think, I've got to be there right now. Instead, in this case, timed it perfectly and knocked it free.
They'll go for it. It's Brady. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete. The Bucs try it on fourth down but come up empty. And the Texans take field position. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They run on first down with Jackson. A beautiful fake. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 73 yards rushing now for Bo, and he's got a first down. All right, I got to ask you, with these RPOs, essentially the quarterback has 3 options, right? So what's different from that versus the triple option that we see the service academies run at the college level?
As a general rule, the triple option at the college level, most things are called outside of the quarterback faking it to the runner and then keeping it himself and maybe having a trail back. What I mean is, in the NFL, that option to throw the football all comes about organically. It's a natural deal based on reads. In college, if you're going to throw the football for triple option, you've actually called that play.
2nd and 11. They'll try and sneak it here. And he's only going to get a yard from the 20 to the 19.
Hey, give him credit. That's a good, solid game there in the sneak because it all comes together. Enough space, get forward, gain yardage. Well done.
The handoff to Ford up the middle. And he's going to come up well short as they rally up to stop him at about the 16. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to 4th down. Cade York on now for the field goal from the right hash. This from 33. Now with just 1 second showing on the play clock, we're going to get a timeout. Now the Texans are going to call on the field goal unit. York able to send this one through, and that'll open the lead up to a touchdown now at 13-6. So a nice kick there as they're able to add on to their lead.
And that's exactly what you're looking to do. Maneuver yourself into range. That way, if your drive stalls out, you're able to get something out of it. And they do so right there.
York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. Very short kick taken right at the 20. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. And Tampa Bay trots out there now. And last time, went for it on fourth, didn't get it. See if they can pick themselves up off the mat and do better this go-around.
Sometimes I have this vision of coaches writing notes to themselves before a game. And sometimes that note says, be aggressive, stay aggressive. Maybe that's what we saw in the last possession.
Yeah, they were very aggressive. This time, will it result in points? We'll find out. All right, you did it. You got the win. Congratulations. Keep that momentum going and tackle that next challenge.
Brooklyn, cause he shot rock, Southside, C12, 911, grrr to the reality, we still outside.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the coach with you here today for another edition of Madden Ultimate Team.
The Washington offense at the line and ready to roll. We've seen both of these offenses still sort of in that figuring things out phase, but I suspect some action on the scoreboard soon as they start out here 1st and 10.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
And he stopped immediately there. No gain on the play that time, and they'll look to convert on what will be a 3rd and 4.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first
Hello?
half, but I don't think it's all been his fault.
Hey.
His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
He's going to fire one deep, middle of the field. And he bats it away, and it falls down incomplete.
That you wouldn't use real silverware.
Throw the deep ball. You're just counting on your receiver to find it, adjust before the defensive back can get his head around. In this case, though, the DB matched it move for move and knocked it away.
That one 4th down here. That pass knocked away and incomplete. A surprising move here on the opening drive of the game. And the Titans, they've got the football back, and they've got it in great field position. So they give it up just on their side of midfield. And, yeah, I mean, a surprising decision there to go for that.
Must have a lot of confidence in his defense. Must feel like, hey, we're in great shape here because our defense can hold them because they're really outside of field goal range now. All right, the opposite defense. So if you hold them here, you haven't given up any points. You may give up a punt and you're pinned down a little bit, but must have thought it was an okay spot to go for it. And